Erik. He's like 51 or 52 years old, living in San Diego. His father, I think originally from Germany, and had an interesting life, sort of pushing his limit, but did some gambling, which Erik thought maybe a little too much, but perhaps checking how much more exploration he can do. And he passed away at 91, something like that. His mother is 70-something, and what I feel is that in this backpackers scene, there are people from different backgrounds. Erik is unique in his own way, and meeting people like him and others. Hey! The gardener just stopped by and gave me a papaya, cold papaya. So the point was meeting people with different backgrounds. And I always have had the sense of why we do what we do, why people do what they do. And that triggered me to do this work with many companies to find what could be the bottleneck and how to release it so that the energy flows smoothly. And continuing that, I feel I meet people, and this setting here gives me such an opportunity. Like this meeting, this gardener just talking a little bit. And there are two Brazilian ladies that I was talking, and they're very young, maybe 23 or 4, work holiday, spending 3 hours to work and the rest of the time free, and pay their own food. We may have some more discussion. So these encounters gave me a sense of who we are, and from my limited perspective, I feel what this life is all about in a very, very small amount from my angle and exposures that I had with people. So back to Erik's case. He seemed to have the similar tendency to explore the world the best he can. And as much as I became like freelancing, consulting, or involved in the company turnaround, which is something I found there's something to do or relate to Zen meditation and how to be the master of ourselves in each person and as a whole organization. So it's a big dream, and I've written books, but this setting of here at North Shore of Hawaii give me more interesting information which I couldn't access. In his case, Erik's case, he's single, and what he does is to work with companies as much as he wants, and he stopped working and the company asked him to come back, for going back and forth. In the meantime, he may visit different countries, and he wants to be single unless something changes. And the meeting we had kind of resonate to what I have done and I'm doing. He's not as much concerned about AI, but that's also interesting because he's got lots of interesting ideas to pursue. So my concern with AI is about the stress and the problem of the society from my point of view, and to see if I have done with companies, organizations, and myself, why not the big world and the humanity, what I can do. So writing books, many people don't read, so this exchange of ideas and sharing even a little bit of a thought that I picked up may help each of us to be the master of their own destiny, but work together for the best for the humanity. I think it makes sense. So more about Erik's case. He's in San Diego, and he traveled and he likes to go visit Iceland, and he wants to go visit again because he wants to observe some kind of a volcano eruption or some such thing. He hasn't been to New Zealand, but I think he is planning. He just came from Japan, climbing up the Mount Fuji just a few days ago, and today I think he is just exploring the area, and tomorrow get into the shark expedition, meeting the sharks, and following that, I think he says something, not the parachuting, but riding those propeller-held, a vehicle to fly. And that's his plan, and he goes back to San Diego, and he may do some work eventually, if he likes to. So that pace of what he does and experience in life kind of like similar to me, that I have my own idea and didn't want to be part of the organization as much. So I was more the catalyst for the change, and he seemed to take the similar position related to the finance, related to the SEC, Security Exchange Commission, related companies that they deal with. Only 60 some people, and very huge operation, it seemed like. In any case, he has this freedom to travel, explore, and his view. And he also said that he has a friend in Montana that he go visit, and there is the car. And that's an interesting story, that his way of living is similar to his father, very determined to do something, and when it's done, he moves on. And I asked how he developed that habit, and he said when he was young, maybe 16, 17, he got a Mustang to play with. So he enjoyed solving the problem, and he even says that he can forget for 11 hours just working, not eating anything, because the issues, the problem he's got occupies him, and he wants to solve it. So he has this very determined attitude of breaking through, come up with a solution. And when I hear and check the process, it's very similar to going to samadhi, because whenever you have a problem, you hit the wall. If you don't hit the wall, you keep going until you hit the wall. That's the process of finding us to progress, and it's our nature. So related to his father succeeded in many ways, and the last thing he did was the gambling, and that was not the smart idea, but he wanted to test his limit, I guess, and had a happy life until age 91. So Erik's case seemed to have some tendencies similar, but also similar to my free-spirited way and exploring the world. Not to say that's the right way for everyone. Everybody is different. That really has to be one of the key points, even when I talk about this subject. Because when I hear him doing whatever he likes to do, it seems like the word I use, Zen Kigen. Zen is total, Kigen is utilizing the opportunities or the talent that he's got. So he's fully engaged in whatever he does, and he does the work on his terms, so to speak. And if the company wants to ask him to come back, he would do it in a temporary basis, and in and out. He's been doing it like for 15 years. So in my case, I had some similar arrangement, but not like with one specific company, but my own small company or myself. And sometimes relating to big companies working together for a long time, like Philips Electronics I did for 6 years or so around the world, or small companies in different fields, not just manufacturing that I wrote the book about, but even supermarket or medical or hospital operations, and transforming to the organization, which I see very similar to the Zen approach of finding the bottleneck and opening up, awakening, and keep thriving. So life is a process of going through the problems and how you go about it. You get to the point that you cannot do anything. And he said, what does he do? I asked, and he said, well, he just stopped for a while and the idea pops up. So that's like this samadhi, no mind, no self state, and then the idea pops up. And before that, whatever he does, he works hard. I may feel the same to the point my eyes get kind of tired if I do some reading of the document and stuff like that. And still continues, but there's that energy. And we talked about the happiness, and one of the point was, how can I explain this? Happiness is what you create by going over the hurdles, and if you are very rich, sometimes that may be very sad. And one of the examples I think he talked about may not be just for the artists, but the musicians. He named the people, I don't know many of them, but commit suicide. Because once you reach certain level, then you get so addicted, and when things don't happen anymore, then they go into the drug or drinking and have a miserable life, or even commit suicide. So we talked about it. So even, yeah, that's right, talking about Eckhart Tolle is famous for this book, what's the name? Something Now. I don't remember. Very famous, Power of Now, that's right. And in them, I think, or in the other book, I don't remember, he talked about he was suicidal. He had the professor committing suicide, and he himself had a difficulty. And one day he thought, I can't stand myself. He wanted to commit suicide, which he may have tried. And when he thought about that, he thought, oh, there are two me's. I cannot stand myself. What is that relationship of I and the me? And that thought made him to stop instead of going through the cruel, horrible, nowhere to go state. So he had the opening there, and then had the enlightenment. I shouldn't push my limit by saying I'm similar, but in my case, I had the limit, and I questioned, why do I have pain? Is that because I'm trying to go away from pain? So me and me going away, similar. And when I thought about it, something happened. Awakening, panga. And then it's like the case of, I think Alan Watt was talking in one of the videos I saw this morning about Kundalini, the energy from the core of your being, find a way to break through and have the moment. But Kundalini I studied, be careful, I'm not sure if that's for everyone to do, but in my case Vipassana, and very much like a Soto Zen, similar approach. But it wasn't easy. So, breakthrough moment, we may all have it. And how to deal with it. As Einstein said, he said he's not smart, but he can stay with the problem long time. That's the right spirit. Don't give up. If you're giving up, there's you. But keep your idea, do your best. Yeah, that's one of the talk with Erik we pounded on, that you look from different angles and then try this, try that, and then you give up. Not giving up, but in the sense of not doing any more thinking. And you go into this samadhi-like state, and then the idea pops up. So, it's wonderful, in his case, living like that. In an area working with the SEC related, legal issues and the people issue, education of the staff and the management. But he has his own approach to do. And as opportunity pop up, he does it, and the rest of the time, he may go to Iceland or different countries or Japan climbing up Mount Fuji, or go to Montana and fix the car at his friend's place that he can stay as much as he wants. Lucky guy, yes. But let me share this. The key important part of this story is I wondered, I compared his life and my life, and I stopped comparing it at certain point because it sounds fairly attractive to what he did, and actually I've done something very similar, but compared to what I do with this issue about AI and the future of humanity and how to resolve it, it's kind of like the discussion of bodhisattva. You may achieve something, but don't stay there. Go back and do some work. I think that's the right attitude. So my dream or the vision is just out of the whack. And it may be crazy, but the craziness, determination, and breakthrough, if you do it right, may bear fruit, and we may find the path as if you are in line to the way of nature or something you feel good and helping the society while having fun. It's not fun all the time. I haven't caught any fish the last month and a half, but that's not the end of it. There's always some unknown area that we can find. However they live, it's not your life, my life, and it is for each to find the connection, alignment, source of energy, and determination, and even staying put to find the moment of breakthrough. If we have one or two of those, whether what level, doesn't matter. I think we all have that faculty that we can find. Well, that's my view. I just wanted to actually perhaps talking to myself as I listened to the story of Erik and comparing it. It's not comparing it. It's about comparing as a reference. What's the core? What's the essence? What is that? It's applicable. And that's the learning process and the challenging process to go forward. So instead of giving up life, or instead of giving up going into the drug or fentanyl, whatever they talk about, that may be a momentarily escape, but you got to live, and you had the good reason that you are here alive. That's the miracle. Let's find the source of miracle to keep us alive, going against the law of entropy, difficulties, but do our best. There are a bunch of species in the world, bunch of trees and, way to live. Each has its own source of energy, nutrition base, the environment we fall into, and the history we may carry from the past. There's a way. If there's a will, there's a way. That's what I thought. I came as a conclusion at one level from this morning. Let's find the path. If there's a will, there's a way. Good day. Thank you.